Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Siemens.
And I'm Christine Siemens.
And
we are
the Siemens home team. So, lots of different conversations we've been having with people, and we noticed that people are watching the market. You've seen that it's shifting here and there. There's more inventory out there, buyers have more options, and they are taking their sweet time.
So we're hearing a question a lot from sellers. What do I actually need to do to get my home sold?
3 things that we can really do to help to prepare your home before you list, how you stage it, and how you market it so that it creates energy and momentum and people are looking at your home.
And you know what? Right now in a buyer's market, those 3 things are not optional. That is what's going to separate the homes that sell for the ones that just sit.
And sit they will. So why don't we take a few minutes and let's get into it.
All right, yes. So step 1 is preparation. Now, here is the thing. When we're talking about prepping your home, we're actually not talking about renovating your home. Let's be very clear on this. We're not saying you need to renovate your entire kitchen to get your home ready to sell.
Of course, people love brand new kitchens, but that's not really what the answer is. In fact, a big expensive renovation right before you sell is rarely going to give you the return on the investment that you're hoping for.
So what we're talking about really right now, because buyers are comparing homes and they're looking at the condition of the home, and that equals home maintenance.
So the goal isn't really to transform your home and make it all brand new. It's actually to remove reasons why buyers might hesitate or even use something as a reason to negotiate your price down. So what does that look like in practical terms?
Well, fresh paint goes a long way. Neutral colors, it's going to make a big difference. Minor repairs, sticky doors, the worn caulking around the tub, outdated light fixtures, making sure everything works. So when a buyer walks through the home, they see that it's a home well taken care of.
Key word there was outdated. A well-maintained home is one a buyer wants to buy.
And then we have the curb appeal, something people underestimate right now in this season. It's the first thing a buyer is going to see, both in the photos and when they pull up to a showing. Clean walkways, tidy yard, fresh painted door is inviting and makes them want to walk in.
And to be fair, this is going to take some effort on your part. You're going to need to declutter and you're going to need to clean each and every room. You want it to feel bigger, brighter, and those types of things can actually really cost you nothing other than your time and energy.
So what you want to avoid is delaying your listing without a very clear payoff. A major renovation is going to take you 6 weeks. You're not going to be able to recoup the cost from that. Whereas getting your home market ready and priced appropriately, you're going to see the bigger payoff.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the next step, staging. And I know, Christine, you have a lot of ideas about this.
I really do. So when I think about staging, it's not making your home look like a magazine.
Right.
But rather it's about making it photo ready and appealing to buyers.
Buyers need to be able to picture themselves in that space. And that's actually harder to do when it sounds when that space is actually full of all of your stuff.
Exactly. So the first thing we're going to tell sellers, remove the excess furniture. No, it sounds counterintuitive, but less furniture is going to make the rooms look bigger. Buyers are not looking to buy your couch. They're actually trying to feel the size of the room.
I always think of china cabinets in this because nobody has china cabinets anymore. And in the kitchen, clean off the countertops, especially in the kitchen. This is where people see that they have no workspace, no prep space. So they want to be able to feel that. That's a big difference.
Lighting is another big one. Open the curtains, let the natural light in, change out your burnt out light bulbs, and here is a tip. Have all the bulbs in the same color tone, a warm white.
And when you walk into the house, your entranceway makes a strong first impression. So nothing piled by the doors, nothing on the walls that's too personal. Make sure that the kitchen is clean and it's tidy. Every room is tidy and decluttered. It's just going to make it easier to move around the home.
Bedrooms and bathrooms, think hotel vibes and spa-like. You want it to feel very welcoming. Fresh towels are preferable in a white color.
So then the next question is, do you think you need a professional stager? Not necessarily. They're not staler. So,
we've given you lots of tips right now with staging. You can do a lot of things yourselves, but a professional is very helpful.
And staging is going to lead us to great photos. And those photos are what's going to be the steps into marketing.
Right.
So let's talk about that.
So now we're going to move into marketing. And that's one thing that sellers don't think enough about, and it's often overlooked, because who's actually doing that marketing for you?
Today's market, your first showing isn't going to just happen when someone walks through the door. It's when they see your listing online.
Right. So it's realtors putting it on realtor.ca, where the vast majority of Ontario starts to see your home for the very first time. And your home is presented there. The photos, the description, the details, and that actually determines whether someone's actually going to stop, look at your property, or whether they're just going to scroll past.
So professional photography is non-negotiable. You need to stop the scroll.
Right. And video walkthroughs, virtual tours, those can be a big deal as well. A good walkthrough video gives people a real sense of what the flow of the home will be like.
And listing description. This is something where a lot of realtors will just phone it in. Beds, bath, square footage, done. Those are great things, but a listing description should go a little bit further. Welcoming, inviting, what's the neighborhood like, what's been updated. You want the buyers to want to see the home once they have read the listing description.
So those are kind of the basics. But when it comes to that, we want to just kind of talk sellers through what they need to think about a launch strategy, how important that is to launch your property properly.
So a good agent isn't just going to be hitting publish and wait and see. Listing launch is like an event. You need to know whether or not there's social media, there's targeted ads, that they're creating momentum, reaching out to their active database of buyers.
Yeah, and you only have a small window to do that. So speaking of creating momentum, another thing that people often neglect, open houses. Some people ask, do they work?
And the answer is absolutely they do.
They do.
There is another type of open house, though, that is often overlooked, and that is what we call an agent open house, or sometimes called a broker open.
We've actually sold 3 of our listings this year off of open houses. So a realtor open house is when you invite agents from the local market through into your home. This usually happens in the morning, and it's because agents are working with buyers already. And if you can get that agent through your home, it's like a preview.
Mm-hmm. And if they love it, they're going to tell their clients about it. And they're going to recommend it, and they're going to have confidence in that. And so that word of mouth at such a professional level, that in itself is incredible value.
Absolutely. So between a strong realtor.ca presence, launch strategy, social and digital marketing, open house, broker open, you're creating an absolute buzz. You're getting people excited about seeing your home.
And that's important because energy matters, especially when there's a lot of options and buyers can be selective. We want to influence how you're going to get showings, how buyers are seeing it, and ultimately to get it sold.
Sold. S-O-L-D. That's a favorite word. So one more thing we want to say then, though, and this matters to us because we work in several different local markets here in Middlesex County and Elgin County.
So what's important is that there's going to be different strategies. The London market and the St. Thomas market behave differently. So what we're seeing in North London is not going to necessarily be what we're seeing in a mature street in St. Thomas or maybe a country property out in Middlesex. So what buyers are prioritizing, the price range computation, that's all going to change on areas.
Yeah, and you need an agent who's watching all of that data closely and being honest with you about the differences between what you're going to see in versus Ingersoll. That what it's going to take for you to compete and sell your home in those hyper local markets.
So to really wrap it up, in a buyer's market, a home that sells is going to be prepared well, staged with intention, and then by a marketing strategy. So all of that to create interest, momentum, and energy.
And if you're thinking about selling, whether it's this month or later this year, we'd love to just sit down with you and talk you through that. What does that look like? What does your home look like? What is your neighborhood? And you don't have to feel that pressure. It's just conversation.
Reach out to us through our website, give us a call, send us a message. We're always happy to talk.
And if you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, so you don't miss our next video, which is coming out next week. And please share this with anyone that you know that has talked about they're thinking on selling their home.
And we will see you in our next one.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Catch up with you again soon.